Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to travel across the country? Have you ever thought about full-time living in an RV on the road? Well, we did, and now we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary.
That's all Dina right there. Hi, I'm Dan.
Hi, I'm Dina, and we are Rivers to Ridges RV.
We've been on the road now for just over a year, and in this video we want to go over some of the things that we really like about on the road, some of the things that we're not too happy with, some of the things that we've learned while we've been on the road, and some of the things we're going to change for next year when we travel next year.
Right. We had this dream for someday when we retired. However, after going on a few vacations here and there, we decided we wanted more of it.
Yeah.
We had been empty nesters for a few years, and we just felt like we were living in the same rut and we were missing out on something. We went on vacation and we decided this is it. This is what we're missing.
Yeah.
This is what we want more of. How can we make this happen? And we went home and really literally researched a lot. Watched a few YouTube channels here and there. Well, actually, we watched a lot of them.
A lot,
Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We watched tons and did even more research after that. One thing led to another. Things started falling into place for us. We sold our home and nearly everything in it. And
a year later.
1 year later, here we are.
So when we started doing our research, we really got committed when we bought the new F350, our tow vehicle,
Yeah.
and then we ended up purchasing the Momentum Grand Design Momentum 397 THR.
2021.
We were really committed. But right after this, and even really during some of our research phase, I think that's when we really probably made our first mistake. And it's very easy to do. If you're thinking about doing this, you're probably going to do the same thing that we did. We did tons of research. We watched a lot of YouTube channels, and to be honest with you, I have to give them credit. They've saved us a lot of money. We've learned so much. So we've actually been able to do things, let's say, the right way the first time, because we learned from somebody else's past experience. So kudos to some of these other YouTube channels.
And now we want to pass it on, keep it going.
Yeah.
So hopefully you might learn from us, and then others can learn from you, and so on and so forth.
And this is where I think we made our first mistake. If you can kind of picture yourself in this situation, you're in the middle of maybe researching, you're definitely going to go RVing full time, you're excited, your RV's on order, you can't wait to get there, you look on YouTube, you're following all these channels, learning stuff. But one of the things that kind of caught us is, if you watch a lot of channels, a lot of them they want you to buy things. They tell you you have to have this, you have to have that before you can, day one. Now some of it's true. I'm not knocking anybody, because we're probably gonna do the same video one day, but you have to kind of just slow down a little bit and think. One of the things that we did, we were told you had to have this little adapter for your electrical cord where it plugs into the side of the RV. Some of the electrical cords plug straight into the RV.
Right.
And so what this adapter does, it allows it to hang nice and flush down the side.
So no kinks or anything like that.
It keeps the bend out of it, it keeps the tension off of it. Sure enough, I went out and bought one. When we got our RV, the electrical cord already has it kind of built into it. So I just spent $30 or $40 on something I don't need, and I'm sure there's some other things that we did as well.
It was it's definitely something nice to have, that's for sure.
But we'll never use it.
But we'll never use it now. And that was really I consider it a small ticket item. It could have been something that costs a lot more, but that's just one example. So I'm sure that there's been others too that we're just not thinking of right now. But definitely something to think about. What we really learned was slow down, really think about it.
You don't have to have everything. You don't have to have it right the day one. There are some things, of course, you're gonna want. Hoses, sewer hoses, and things like that. Right. There are some things you're gonna want, but some of the other stuff, just slow down a little bit and don't rush out and spend your money. Take your time.
Some of it can wait until you actually need it.
Yes, definitely.
And we've learned that too.
And we'll get down later in the video some things that we bought that we realize we really just don't need.
Right.
That's some other things as well.
Yeah.
So some things we like about living on the road.
Some things we don't like about living on the road.
So what do we like about living on the road?
A lot. We like a lot about living on the road. We love our freedom. We love everything that we get to see and do. We're so grateful and appreciative. It's just...
It's
I
a
know
different lifestyle.
You've probably been to a place on vacation, say, and you thought, I am so appreciative, I am so grateful, so thankful to have this experience and see this. And you go home with your pictures and your videos and you show your family and friends and they get it, but not really.
Yeah.
It's something you have to do and see for yourself.
And we could do that every single day.
We have had so many of those experiences, and we share with our family quite a bit, believe me. We send them email links and video links, and so they're seeing it with us, and they say they feel like they're with us, but it's not the same.
Yeah, and part of that freedom kind of ties into the next thing that we really, really enjoy. It kind of goes hand in hand, is the adventures it allows us to go on, the adventures in the different places we get to go. We were just talking about this earlier before this video, and we're just so grateful for everything we've got to see this year, the different states, the national parks. We love the little small towns even. That's something else on our list for
it's some of our favorite things that we get to see and do.
It's not just the destination A to B, it's all the stuff in between.
It's the little things. I always say it's the little things, but it really is.
We were in a couple small towns in Wyoming. We're in Cody, Wyoming, and we're actually in Cheyenne, Wyoming right now.
Not Cheyenne. We're in Sheridan.
Oh, we're in Sheridan.
He doesn't know where he is.
That's another
he has
mistake.
no clue where he is.
That's something else I like about this lifestyle. I'm lost. I'm always lost.
That was pretty good, actually.
So we're in Sheridan, Wyoming. But one of the things we really like about this is...
And he drives? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Take two.
Yeah.
One of the things we really like about this, and these small towns are really good examples. We went to some museums in Cody, and the history out west, the history of the United States. We were at the Little Bighorn battlefield yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much to see and do in the United States in this type of lifestyle that we would never be able to do this any other way.
No.
So those are some of the things that
so many of these things that you read about, but to actually be there
to see it, it was we went to this is probably 10 years ago now, but we went to some of the Civil War battlefields.
20 years ago.
Okay, 20 years ago. This is way before RVing, but I'll never forget the feeling of being on the actual site where some of this stuff happened, right? You can always look in history books and, that's a big battle that happened there.
Right.
And then you're actually standing on the site where these pictures are taken. You might be standing right where some, soldiers died or, gave their life. And it's very, very touching.
Yeah.
And we had the same feeling yesterday in the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Yeah.
You kind of drive through that and you see the grave markers, they're out there, and you read the history and everything that goes on. It's very touching, but at the same time we're very grateful to be able to do it and see some of that stuff. So we've learned a lot, we've seen a lot, and it's just wonderful.
And it's only 1 year.
Yeah, only 1 year.
It's just beginning.
Long ways to go.
Yes. Excuse me for a second. I hope you guys can't hear the wind blowing out. We're in Sheridan, not Cheyenne.
Oh, okay.
Sheridan, Wyoming, and we are having like a heck of a windstorm.
A heat wave.
A heat wave with a windstorm, major windstorm. And I don't know if our patio rug might just fly over the back into the back pasture with the cows and the horses back there. I hope not, but I don't know if you guys can hear the wind, but that's where it's coming from.
That's why we were trying to do this outside.
We really wanted to do it outside because there's cows and horses behind us, but no way.
So that's some of the stuff that we really, really enjoyed about this lifestyle.
Definitely.
Now, it's not all bells and whistles and unicorns. There's bad things with this lifestyle as well, right?
Yes.
And what's one of your...
Missing family and friends.
Yeah, family and friends.
That's the biggest.
It's a biggie. Luckily for us, we have family kind of scattered East Coast, West Coast, Northeast. So as we travel, we can see different family members. So that does help out quite a bit.
Yeah.
This year we were fortunate, our daughter and son-in-law and her whole family
And my sister.
and your sister, they all came out to visit for a while. We were on the West Coast, so that's definitely a tough part of this lifestyle.
But we'll be with a lot of them in December for Christmas, in time for Christmas, so we'll have to make up for it then. But it really is, and like I said earlier, as far as keeping in touch with the family with emails and links and videos of links of pictures and videos, it does feel like it helps and keeps us connected, and we do call quite a bit actually. It's always hearing their voice for me that makes everything a little bit better, but it still is tough no matter what. Like you have to realize we haven't seen Mom and Dad, Danny's parents, for over a year now. So it's tough.
It's tough. It's a tough part of this life.
You have to be willing.
You have to weigh everything. Everything has there's pros and cons.
And that's definitely one to really think about and talk about and be honest with yourself.
Yeah. And there's another aspect to this lifestyle that we put this on the list that we don't care for, but to be honest with you, we had to put it somewhere. There's mixed emotions on this one, and it's travel day. The day that you pick up and go from one location to another location. And honestly, it doesn't start that day. For us, it starts the day or sometimes even 2 days before. Just depending. It's pretty stressful.
It can be stressful. It's bittersweet to leave one spot and go to another, but it can be stressful, and especially for you. Yeah,
lots of times we always wondered at the end of a travel day, and we're always tired, and we never quite understood why. And actually, just last week we were talking to our next door neighbor in Cody, and I think he hit it on the head. I think his name was Terry. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
But he said when he travels on his travel days, the night before he just doesn't sleep. And I go, I think he's right. I think it starts the night before.
So much to think about.
You can't make mistakes. You make one mistake in this, and it can really ruin your whole your house. Honestly.
In our situation, our home.
So travel days, to us, they're stressful, not bad, but there's definitely stressful. There's a lot of things to pack up. I don't care what anybody tells you when you're going down the road, pulling a 43-foot RV, pulling your home. It's not a Sunday drive. I don't care what anybody tells you. There's stress involved. It's maybe not, it's going to be different levels for different people, but there's a level of stress there. And then once you have to go through a small town, that's when our ears really perk up in our eyes, and I'm asking Dina to help when you're going through around corners.
And speaking of, you just got an email this morning from our next destination letting us know
there's
by the way you can't do that route.
There's construction in the area, so we have to go through a town
downtown area.
So
and you know how
that stress I was talking about started about 5 days early this time, so we'll see how that goes.
It'll start tomorrow. No, actually today, I guess.
So actually, while we're talking about the bad things, actually this probably isn't a good time to do it. We'll talk about good things after this. But before we get there, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, and make sure you hit the notification bell as well, so you can get notified when our videos come out. It really helps us out. We're just trying to get these out to other people, other RVers as well.
So we can continue making these videos and hopefully sharing with others. We appreciate it.
The next thing we want to talk about are some of the things that we've learned over this past year. Some of the things, hopefully we learned them so you don't have to. If you're in the same situation, you might be able to pick up where we left off and continue on. So I think the first thing, and it's not a huge ordeal, but again, I work full-time, Dina works in the RV as well. And it was really, really tough for us, and it's still kind of hard sometimes. You have to remember, this is our life. This isn't a vacation for us. So it's very tough sometimes when I'm sitting back of the RV working, and you're looking out the back, and everybody's out there around campfires, making s'mores, having adult beverages. It's very hard sometimes to you got to be, I guess, dedicated. And you just
have to stay
be
focused on
self-disciplined.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
This is my job. It's our lifestyle. We can't do that every day. But again, it's very tough sometimes to watch everybody outside playing, and we have to stay here and work. So that's something. And we're still working on that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yep. It's hard. It's hard sometimes, and living this lifestyle, to remember, it's not every day is vacation. On the weekends, I mean, we fill them up as fast as we can.
Yeah.
But it is hard to remember, okay, you do have a bedtime, you know.
You have to get up for work.
Can't go to a rodeo until 11 o'clock or 11:30 the night before, when someone gets up at, 5 a.m. It's just not going to work. But
so another thing that we learned, and this kind of goes back to one of the first things we spoke about in the video, subscriptions. And what I mean is, again, when we're originally doing all our research, we got all hyped and we're happy and we're excited.
Right.
We started buying all these subscriptions for basically campground discounts. Good Sam, Passport America, a few. We probably had 4 or 5, I think maybe even 6 at one time.
Yeah.
If I was to do this again, if we were to do this again, I would just hold off. And what we found out, what we've learned over this year, a lot of these subscriptions, they don't work depending on the way you travel. Now, what I mean by that is, we try to stay 2 weeks at every place that we go. It doesn't work all the time. As a matter of fact, here we're only going to be here for a week. But we try to stay 2 weeks wherever we go. Most of the campgrounds that we've been to, I believe, if not most, maybe even all of them, for every week you stay, they usually give you a free night. So if you're there for 2 weeks, you usually get 2 free nights stay.
Right.
That's usually better than most of the subscriptions that we have or we had. So I would not, if I was to do this again, I wouldn't rush out and just start buying subscriptions.
So you can't, if you're going to get a discount, because you qualify for it on the time that you're staying there, they won't let you do the
They'll only let you do one
or the other.
And
okay.
9 times out of 10, the free night is better than the subscription. Now there's some, I think Passport America, they have some 50% off things. So, but in general, if you're staying for a week or 2, you're usually better off taking that discount. And if you're staying for a month, and for sure you usually get a good monthly rate.
We did that once.
Yeah, and we've saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if we were to do this again, I would hold off on buying a bunch of subscriptions up front. Start to figure out our patterns, how long we stay in places, and see what really works best. So that's probably another mistake I think we made in the beginning. Something else we've learned, and I still have a hard time with this sometimes. And the only way I can describe it is, normally back when we were in the sticks and bricks, you get paid every 2 weeks. You do your mortgage, you pay your mortgage once a month, you pay your electric, your water once a month. There's kind of a set routine. Right? It's every month you have basically the same amount of money coming in and the same amount of money going out. And I like that. I like consistency. Yeah. There's no consistency on the road. What happens lots of times with us is we'll go in spurts. So we'll start planning, let's say we're going to start planning our 2023 trip. It gets a little bit closer and we're going to start booking, our campsites or our campgrounds for the first 3 or 4 months right up front. We may book 3 or 4 months worth of campgrounds in one day and do them all. Now some of these only require a small deposit. Some may require the whole deposit. So now
your total of staying
the total,
there.
The whole amount. So now in one day we just booked 3 or 4 months worth of campgrounds, and again some of those they want a full amount. So our expenditures for the month just went through the roof. So that to me, I think the first time I haven't had a heart attack almost. It takes a while to get used to it. It's something that it takes a while. It's different. Some people they may not care.
It doesn't sit well with you.
No, I like
paying that whole. I know.
I like consistency. So, but anyways, I still struggle with that one. So
right.
if you like
As
consistency,
anyone, I think a lot of people would, though.
Yeah, it's stressful when you look at your books.
Yeah.
And you see you have a major outflow and not as much coming in.
Right.
So it's if you think about it though, it's gonna be okay because the next month.
Another thing to make him stressed.
Yeah, I'm stressing already thinking about it.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. So the last thing we want to talk about is some of the things that we're going to change for next year. Some of the things because of what we've learned.
Yep.
Just our patterns and some of the things we want to change.
So we are, just to let you know, we are doing this for another year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, no doubt about that, for sure. Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Ashley, Ryan, kids, DJ, Lon. Sorry.
But one of the big things, and I personally think this is one of the biggest mistakes we made this last year. When we plan our trips, there's kind of a golden rule of don't travel more than 300 miles a day.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we based our trips on. We started at point A, we would travel 300 miles-ish, and wherever that happened to be, we'd kind of stop in that general area, then stay there for a couple of weeks and move on another 300 miles.
Right.
What we've realized, and we caught this luckily in actually next month, what we realized is don't go 300 miles every single time. Look around. You may want to use 300 miles or 250 miles as a general rule. But once you get there, start looking the surrounding areas. And this is where we failed. Honestly, we failed here.
Our fault.
I don't even want to know some of the places we've missed.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't even want to go back and look.
Yeah, and I'll give you a very good example of this. And luckily we caught this in time. We're going to go from South Dakota through Colorado and start heading south later on this year. Our original plan was South Dakota. I believe the next stop was the very northern tip of Colorado, and then the next stop was somewhere in southern Colorado. Just 30 miles or 40 miles out of the way, I'm sorry, a little bit more than that, about 50 miles out of the way. If we would stop there, now we have Rocky Mountain National Park right next to us. So if we didn't catch that, if we didn't
neither one of us have ever been there.
No. If we didn't catch that, we would have stayed in northern Colorado, did whatever is around the border, and then headed further south. We would have completely missed the national park. So big lesson for us, big fail for us. We're the losers. Don't just go by the 300 miles. Spend some time. That's why you're doing this.
Yeah.
Right? That's why you're living this lifestyle, to see it and do this.
That's what made our
big mistake on our part. Something else we're going to change for next year, and we've actually already have made this change. It was a pretty easy change. When we first started traveling, we would travel on Sundays. It was always on a Sunday. Again, working during the week, I can't travel during the week, so it's always on the weekend. Our thought process was if we travel on a Sunday, we get to a new location. A lot of people left for the weekend. It'd just be a little bit easier getting in and out. It wouldn't be as crowded.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think that matters. It's campgrounds are campgrounds. There are people in and out every single day. So now what we do is we switched over to traveling on Saturdays.
Right.
And there's a couple reasons for this. One is once we get to a new location, we get set up. It gives us the Sunday to kind of relax, start exploring a little bit, and just an extra day before I have to go back to work.
Right, before you have to go back to work. And also, there was at least one time I can remember we arrived somewhere on Sunday and office was closed.
Yeah, it worked out.
I mean, that could be a biggie.
Yeah, it worked out. They had pamphlets out front.
Yeah.
But
they were completely closed.
Yeah,
it was like,
out.
Okay, that's kind of weird. There was a phone number we could have called if we needed to, but they were closed, so.
Yeah. So,
oh well.
Another, and this is just as important, or maybe more important, if we were to break down on a travel day, if we were traveling on a Sunday, more than likely most places are going to be closed. So by traveling on a Saturday,
that's true.
Hopefully we don't have any problems, but if something does, we have a little bit better chance of somebody being open.
I like Saturdays better anyway, just because I feel like, you know, we usually get up early, we hit the road, we get to our location early enough to, if we do need to go out to the grocery store, we go. And while we're doing that, we usually check out where, you know, any hospitals or emergency rooms are.
Get familiar with the area.
Veterinarian, for rodeo, God forbid, if needed. Anything like that.
Yeah.
You can map out your jogging path.
Yeah.
But then we still have time to unpack.
And relax.
And we have Sunday to go out and do something.
Yeah. Yep.
Before Monday hits. So, it's so much better.
Saturdays, we both definitely like Saturdays. The next thing we're trying to change, and you know, we've already started, this is very difficult for me, to be honest with you. When I get to a new location, I want to go. I want to see everything there is to see. I love this country. I love seeing.
He's not kidding. Not in the least. He wears me out.
You signed up
Just
for this.
thought I'd say that. Man.
But we do. When we go somewhere, we're trying to live life to the fullest, right? We want to go and see.
Well, one of us. Anyway.
We want to go see and explore and do everything. But I think what we're going to try to do, and we're slowly getting this way, I think maybe age might be part of it too. Just slow down a little bit. I don't think in 1 year we've ever used any campground amenities. We've never been inside a campground. Well, the very first month we did. We never been to like a campground swimming pool. We never taken advantage of things, you know, maybe dinners they have for the guests in the evenings, or breakfast in the mornings, things like that. We don't. We did go to one ice cream social.
What boring.
I think.
we went to the ice cream social
in Oregon. Yeah, that was it, and that's in a year's time.
Right.
So
Man.
I think.
I don't think that's getting older. I think we're just bored. Or maybe I am.
Well, we're busy. We're busy. So,
okay.
You know, most of the time, again,
we're on the go so much.
We're on the go. We get tired. We want to come home and relax.
Get rodeo taken care of, and then we're done.
We're
for
done.
The day.
So I think.
I think, and that might be. I know you've asked a few times to go do something that's going on in the within the campground, and I'm like, I'm too tired, and you won't go without me. So that probably is. I need to work on that probably more than you do, but
so
that's my confession.
Oh, so I get all the blame for all the mistakes. That's an easy one for you. You get a loser too. So that's what we're working on. Those were
definitely
some.
There are things that we still need to work on, but yes. It's hard to believe it's been our 1 year already.
I'm sure this next year coming up, we're going to have a lot more things to work on as well. But we'll definitely share those with you too. We're always honest. We always share our honest opinion with things.
Definitely.
Hopefully, if you're thinking about RVing full time, or just curious about this lifestyle, hopefully this answered some of your questions. If you have any more questions, please leave comments below, and we always try to answer everything that we can.
Yeah, we love to hear from you guys. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we're going to go and pop this bottle, baby.
You're a bad influence on me. Remember, always live life to the fullest.
Have a great week, and God bless.